So the crypto market is acting a bit unusual. We're seeing Bitcoin do something that we've never seen it do before, and this is something that you need to be aware of as a crypto investor. So in today's video, we're going to go over everything you need to know in terms of macro events with Bitcoin, whale accounts. We're also going to talk about some altcoins like Solana. So if you enjoy short and concise content, I'd appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's see if we could get the video up to 1,000 likes and show some support to the channel. But right now, what we're seeing is that Bitcoin is right around $46,000 per coin. We're looking at technical indicators. Everything is just chugging along just fine. We're seeing Bitcoin rejected at that 200-day moving average like we expected, and is continuing to bounce off of this $45,700 support. So over the coming days and weeks, it's going to be crucial to see Bitcoin maintain this support, that orange box right here, and continue to then break out above this 200-day moving average. As long as we see that happen, I'm not worried at all with the overall market. I very well expect to see record highs in 2022. But the weird thing that's happening with the market right now is that we're seeing Bitcoin retail FOMO spike for the highest it's been since 2017, but Bitcoin's price isn't reflecting this. So what we're seeing right here is, when you're looking at this chart, retail holding spikes have consistently, over the last 5 years, always coincided with macro tops, or on a couple of occasions, great buying opportunities, like when Bitcoin crashed during the pandemic, or when we've seen Bitcoin reach a low. But right now, none of that is happening, yet we're seeing Bitcoin retail holdings increase dramatically over the last 30 days. So this makes me ask the question, well, why are we seeing this huge spike in retail investors getting into Bitcoin, but we're not seeing it reflected in prices? So I did a bit of digging. We looked into some of the data, and what I found is that we're seeing right now that a lot of people are starting to use Bitcoin more as a savings account. They're putting a lot of their money into Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, and a lot of millennials are using crypto to fund their retirement, according to a number of reports we have found from Investpedia and a number of crypto exchange reports. The only thing that we're seeing, which is also very unusual, is that no one is searching for Bitcoin on Google. And every single macro top of the market, every single time we have seen Bitcoin reach a top, we have always seen that the search interest is at all-time highs. This usually, if you're looking at this Google search interest, it usually mimics the price of Bitcoin. But again, that is not happening. So we're seeing retail investors buy Bitcoin. As you can see from wallets holding between 0.1 and 1 BTC, you're seeing the massive spike happen, but you're not seeing people search Bitcoin on Google, and you're not seeing the price reach a record high or see a massive crash. So right now, what I'm seeing happen, and let me know in the comments down below what you think, but it looks like most people right now are not really searching Bitcoin, not really seeing massive amount of FOMO in terms of needing to research it, but a lot of people are familiar enough with Bitcoin that they're just buying it and putting it as a savings account, a hedge against inflation, and just keeping some on the side. That is what it looks like to me in terms of retail investor data, because we have never seen this before. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. In addition to this, what we're seeing is with whale accounts. When you're looking at whale accounts right now, whale accounts have been accumulating more and more Bitcoin every single day. So one of the biggest Bitcoin whales, Microstrategy, who owns over 130,000 Bitcoin, they added 4,167 Bitcoin to their position, worth around $190 million the other day. And I was getting a lot of questions on Twitter, was where'd this money come from? Was this the loan they took out the other day? And yes, this was the loan they had taken out from Silvergate. They took out a loan of $205 million. And this Bitcoin purchase that they just announced was exactly from that. They spent $190.5 million. They had taken out a $205 million loan. So that is where that loan went, was to buy more Bitcoin, exactly like we expected. One of the other biggest Bitcoin whales is Terra Foundation. What we're seeing is that Do Kwon, the co-founder of blockchain protocol Terra, has pledged in the past that they're going to add $10 billion worth of Bitcoin to Terra's Bitcoin reserves. And what we're seeing is that he came out the other day in an interview and said that they might go higher than $10 billion. That as long as UST is being minted, Terra is going to continue to buy Bitcoin and continue to buy more and more. So there really is no upper limit on how much Bitcoin they can buy. So this is great news for long-term Bitcoin and crypto investors. What we're seeing is that Microstrategy is continuing to add more to their position. They have no plans of selling it really ever. And the same is for Terra. So as we continue to see both of these whales add more and more to their position, it's taking supply off of exchanges and ultimately just supply and demand economics. If we see more supply come off of exchanges, it's going to help see the price of Bitcoin increase. We may even see a supply squeeze happen as more Bitcoin comes off of exchanges. So this is good for us long term. And what we're seeing is right now, Terra, they own about 30,000, almost 31,000 Bitcoin, worth around $1.4 billion. So they still have a long way to go before that 10 billion or even higher. And that is going to be good for all of us in the crypto space. Last couple things I want to talk about is going to be what is going on with a brand new report that came out from CoinShares. And I saw this on Bellboy's Twitter page. So if you don't follow Bellboy, make sure to do that. They're almost at 1,000 followers. This isn't sponsored, but that's where I find all my news for the crypto market, and they definitely deserve more followers on Twitter. But what we're seeing is that a new report from CoinShares indicates that last week, we saw $180 million of inflows into the crypto market. And this was the second week in a row where we saw inflows into the crypto space from institutional investors. And this is pretty exciting. We're seeing that for the first time, really in all of 2022, we have seen consecutive weeks in a row with massive inflows from institutional investors. And historically, this would mean that we're gearing up for a big rally in the market. We're seeing Microstrategy, Luna, and other institutional investors add money to their crypto holdings, and that usually means that we're going to see a big rally in the market very, very soon, that it is imminent. What we're seeing in terms of some of the data, we're seeing that Bitcoin saw $144 million of inflows, Ethereum 22.9, and Solana was way up there as well with $8.2 million of inflows. So all of this is showing me that, look, top holding obviously is Bitcoin for institutions, second highest is Ethereum, and as of lately, institutions have been going all in on Solana, and there's a couple reasons for this. So one of which is that we've seen Solana's price really increase dramatically over the last 7 days. It has been the biggest gainer out of all coins in the top 10, up around 20% over the last 7 days. And what we're seeing is that there are a number of new Solana projects that have rolled out and raised a lot of money recently. One of which is a decentralized Google Maps called HiveMapper, and they just raised $18 million in a Series A funding round. So essentially, this is just a Solana-based project where people use dashboard-mounted cameras when they're driving around, and they receive incentives like crypto tokens, the native token of HiveMapper, and they are able to help build out this mapping, like Google Map ecosystem. So simply, people just put dashboard-mounted cameras on their car, and by doing that, they receive money to help build out the ecosystem. So this is one project in particular that I think is pretty cool. It's a decentralized mapping system, and I think they'll will have a lot of potential, but I don't know this project in particular. I'm just saying Solana projects are seeing a lot of funding as of recently. In addition to this project called HiveMapper, we're also seeing another one called Strata, raised $1.5 million. And they are Solana no-code token launchpad. Right now, one of the biggest problems with Solana projects is that if you're looking to for a Solana launchpad or platform to help you launch a token, you need to pitch your idea before they extend their services. And most of the time, they only pick the biggest projects, the ones that have raised a lot of money. But this eliminates a lot of people who just want to make their own tokens, or maybe people who don't have access to all the funding and want to build their own projects. So it really limits this to high quality projects that have received a lot of funding. And this eliminates this really, is a big problem if you're talking about decentralization. So with this project, Strata, they are building a project that is very similar to a no-coding website builder like a Squarespace or a WordPress, but they're building this for the crypto space on Solana. So if you want more details, I'll put these links down below. But these two projects, in addition to many more, have been raising millions of dollars for Solana, and that is why we have been seeing Solana's price increase dramatically as of recently, because more institutions are pouring money into it, and there's a lot of projects that have been launching on the ecosystem as of lately. So that's going on with the overall market. A couple of unusual things with Bitcoin, some data in terms of retail investors, but overall, we're still in a good place. We're seeing Bitcoin's price still hover above that key support of $45,700 per coin. We just need to see Bitcoin break above this 200-day moving average, and then we'll be well on our way to new record highs in 2022. So that's going on. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.